Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Sadguru Maharaj ki Jai. Jnana Vairagya Sampurnan Hari Bhakti Parayanan Purva Acharyanaham Vande Sampradaya Pravartakan. Hare Rameti Krishneti Nama Sankirtanam Sada Lokakshemaya Kurvantam Premikam Sadgurum Bhaje. Kalage Sundarakaram Sadeika Priyadarshanam Ajnananashakam Devam Sadgurum Muralidharam Murali Mandita Karagamalam Munijana Mohanam Vyatyasta Padam Paramala Dharinam Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam Premika Bharadam Ashraye Parthaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavadhim Ashtadashadhyayim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindhaya Tavatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Thaila Purna Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Amrita Duhe Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukhaṁ Karoti Vachalam Pankum Lankayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranadakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tannamami Harim Param Buddhir Balam Yashodhiryam Nirbhayatvam Marogata Ajatyam Vakpadutvancha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha. Sadguru Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. With the immense grace of our beloved Guru Maharaj, Maharanyam Sri Sri Muralidhara Swamiji, and by the causeless mercy of Sri Madhuri Saki Sameta Premika Varda Thakurji, we are relishing Gita Amritam, the nectarine verses of Sri Bhagavad Gita. As we discussed earlier, for some of the people in this world who are spiritual aspirants, they need to read Gita, understand the path, understand the purport, and then travel in the path. But we are all very fortunate because even before we explore the various intricacies of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan has been very kripalu, very compassionate with us. We are already in a satsang. We are already following the fundamental teachings of Bhagavad Gita. We are already leading a life surrendered to Bhagavan. We are already having a satsanga. We are already having a guru. And Gita serves as a reiteration, reinforcement of that wonderful life that we have been bestowed with by the kripa of our beloved Guru Maharaj. So Swamiji used to say, for some devotees, they look at Shastra and try to design their spiritual life. And if that knowledge from Shastra alone needs to guide our life, we would be ridden with confusion and doubts. But if Kripa first takes care of us, and then we open Shastras like this, we clearly see that what we are, what we live, what we think, and what we understand from spiritual path, etc. The Shastras merely go ahead and reinforce it, confirm it, and that is our fortune. And we saw that Nama Sankirtana or Mahamantra is the fundamental for any spiritual growth in this current age of Kali Yuga. And Bhagavan finally points out to that path. And the greatest of all Charama Shloka, the greatest shloka in Bhagavad Gita is Charama Shloka. Charama Shloka is the shloka for sannyasis. Charama Shloka is the shloka of surrender for devotees. Charama Shloka is the shloka of tremendous hope for even people who are fallen. Our Guru Maharaj interprets Charama Shloka in three ways. Sarva dharman paridyajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papepyo mokshayishyami masujaha. This is for the greatest adhikari like Shuka, Sanaka, the rishis who are already jnanis. They can't do any karma. So the Charma Shloka applies to them also, that they have left all the dharma and they are constantly in the state of Krishna Anubhavam. And the second type of devotees are like Yudhishthira. This Yudhishthira, they don't leave the karma, but they completely offer all the karma pala to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So Sarva Dharman Parityajya for them would be Sarva Karma Pala Parityajya. The equivalence of abandoning or offering the fruits of karma is equivalent to even abandoning karma, because desire is the most biggest hurdle for us to attain Bhagavan. And the third type of devotees are Bhakta Ajamilam Agam Namami Dekhi Me Tava Antima Smarano. The third type of Bhaktas are Ajamila, Shatrabandhu. Those are people who, though they know that they have to follow the dictums of our scriptures, they are brashta, and they are not able to, they are weak. And for them, what is the gati? For them, when we are in this Kali, Kalmasha Chittana, Papatravyopajivinam, Vidikriya, Vihinanam, Gatihi, Govinda Kirtanam. So for them, the only Gati, because Vidikriya, Vihinanam, there are no restrictions, rules, etc. are able to be followed. And all the Kriyas told by our Veda Mata, depending on who we are, where we are, cannot be followed. What is the Gati for us? Govinda Kirtanam. So final Sharanagati is towards the Sharanagati of the Bhagavan Nama, and that is the reason why our Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and all our Shastra, they show the supremacy of the divine name, and they say the final refuge is Kripa of Bhagavan in form of holding on to the given divine name. And chanting the divine name is also called Vachiga Sharanagati. It is the vocal or verbal surrender to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And hence, our Asaram can be interpreted in a practical term for normal people like us as holding on to the divine name. And holding on to the divine name also, we discussed yesterday, Anushteyatvat, that because we can actually practice the Sara of Gita, as our Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padji says, is Mat Karma Krit, Mat Bharamo, Mat Bhaktaha, Sangavarjitaha. And that also can be fully accomplished just by holding on to Maha Mantra. When we are actually chanting the divine name and working in the world, it is like we are protecting ourselves with the gloves, we are protecting ourselves with the mask, and yet going in an infected area. And likewise in samsara, we protect ourselves with the wonderful God called the divine name. And we go and work around in this world. Whatever work we do, Bhagavan purifies it because we have the name in our lips. And whatever buddhi we have, Bhagavan gives dadhami buddhi yogam tam. He gives us nischaya buddhi. He makes our buddhi determined. He gives clarity to our buddhi so that we make the right decisions. Nam Sankirtan can do that. Mat karmakrit, mat paramo, and mat bhaktaha. It is Bhagavan Nama which slowly builds the lovely
sense of prema in our heart. Our Narada Maharshi says the greatest sadhana for attaining prema or bhakti in our heart is chanting the divine names. So chanting the divine names and uh, also chanting the divine names as ordained by a great master adds to the power of the divine name. So divine name makes us do karma as karma yoga. Divine name makes us transforms our heart into that filled with love for Bhagavan. Divine name also clarifies our buddhi. What else should we actually hold on to? That is the essential practical Gita Shastra. But you have to understand the greatness of the divine name. Na? That's why we spend 17 days exploring the two parts of Gita. Because what we actually discussed here essentially is the essence of all the 700 slokas. Because the 12 chapters, introductory few verses, the first 5 verses actually talk about sadhyam. It talks about the two paths which leads to sadhyam. Sadhyam means destination. And then the various stages in going towards that final stage of prema, jnana, vairagya, etc. through saguna upasana is also discussed. And our Bhagavan has also greatly praised the greatness of being not having the sense of ownership of the fruits of the actions we do, not hankering after the fruits. Do it as upasana. What does upasana mean? We adore Bhagavan. How do we adore Bhagavan? We offer flowers to Bhagavan. We offer chandanam to Bhagavan. We offer tirtham to Bhagavan. We do all that to adore Bhagavan because we are very grateful, isn't it? Likewise, Bhagavan says, I have given you duties in this world. You take care of the family and you are doing my duty only, mat karma only. Are going to the office, you are doing mat karma only. It is not a bhava, it is a fact. As I told you earlier, our Swamiji very beautifully says, imagining the truth is bhava, not imagining falsity. Unfortunately, in English, we don't have an equivalent word for bhava. Actually, we are all here to do Krishna's work. Even if a child is taking care of its room in a big house where the lord of the house, the master of the house has many children and he has many rooms. Now the whole house belongs to the master only. Na? So even if the child is keeping its own room tidy, neat and clean, it is doing only the lord of the house's work, isn't it? So even when we are taking care of our family, when we are looking at each other with love, when we do these little sacrifices and to actually make the other person happy, we are actually doing Krishna's duty. This is what is mat karma krit. Bhagavan says the whole creation is mine and I have created a small ecosystem for you called the family, called the society you live in, called the country you live in. Whom do you think all these belong to? Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So mat karma krit, when we chant the nama and do our duty, not get into any sinful activity, not repeating a mistake, whether it is a so-called laukika mistake or spiritual mistake, doesn't matter. Bhagavan says, look upon everything as my work because it is the fact. Just like how the space is ever pervading, Krishna is ever pervading. Just like how there is no place without space, likewise there is no work which is not connected to Krishna. Now Karma Yoga merely asks us to see the fact clearly and not to be blinded by a small little circle around us. We are not here to actually draw a circle around us, but to see the truth as it is. Truth is, we are doing Bhagavan's work. And when we chant the divine name, it makes us understand this clearer and clearer. And once we do every duty of ours as I am serving Bhagavan Sri Krishna as an aradhana, just like how we carefully do our puja, our awareness, our concentration, our passion would be for every little activity we do. And that is how we progress in Krishna Jnanam, Krishna Bhakti, and getting a little bit of a vairagya in this world. So Bhagavan merely says, Mat karma krit, mat paramo, mat bhaktaha sangha varjitaha. And detaching ourselves from that which is not knowledge is sangha varjitaha. Detaching ourselves because we clearly see everything is Krishna's work. Now, where do we get detached ourselves from now? From the mind, thinking that this is my work, this is not my work. Or rather, this is Krishna's work, this is not Krishna's work. And that is a state of a Bhagavata where constantly everything is seen upon as Krishna's work, and which is a fact also, because Bhagavan ultimately is the Lord of the universe, and he sees the touch of that greatness. He sees the touch of the one in the play of the many. This is a wonderful line given by Rabindranath Tagore in Gitanjali. And it's a very inspiring line. And the whole idea of Karma Yoga is to constantly remember the touch of that one, which is Harim Ekarasam. Yasvanubhavam Shruti Saram Ekam, that one, which is the essence of all scriptures, which is the actual experiences of all great Mahatmas like our own Guru Maharaj. With that one is Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the Krishnanubhavam. When we constantly start seeing the touch of one in the play of many, no act is trivial, no duty is to be shunned. Everything is embraced as Krishna's work. And that's what Krishna is going to tell about how his devotees are going to be. And the beauty with Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he talked about the highest of all spiritual activities. He said that mat karma krit, mat paramo, sangha varjitaha, everything spiritual. And suddenly he's talking about human values, the standards of human values. Is that not a human value not to have enmity towards each other? Is that not human value to be friendly with each other? Is compassion not a human value? But all that is enlisting after he talked about the highest divine sadhana. And he is going to tell about people who have completely crossed this ocean of samsara, and they are now already a jnani, already a bhakta who is a jnani. That state they are in. And he is talking about human values. Now, do you understand why our Swamiji said humanity and divinity are inseparable? We can actually scale the heights of humanity only through the medium of divinity. If you have to scale the peak of humanity, if humanity is to be imagined as Himalayas, and we have to go to the peak and ever rest there in that wonderful human values, we need this rope called divinity, this spiritual sadhana to scale there. Without a spiritual enhancement, we cannot scale the heights of human values. And human values, some basic human values are absolutely essential for us to go in the spiritual path. That's why he put an end there. And humanity and divinity are inseparable. And that's what our Vidura Swami very clearly tells in this discussion with Maitreya Swami in the third canto of Bhagavatam. If we understand that, then we can understand this also. He's saying that Sukhaya karmani karoti lokaha, na sukham na anyad uparamam va. That people in this world do everything for sukha only, for joy, for happiness only. But I find that not all of them, or most of them, or almost every one of them are not finding that sukha. At least if they don't find happiness, they should be in a neutral state of neither happiness nor sorrow, isn't it? Na uparamamba. There seems to be no rest, no sense of tranquility everywhere. And I understood why it is so. People are not finding happiness because they actually have moved away from the path of dharma. There is a universal values called dharma. These are not only human, they are spiritual. So these values can't be categorized as human values and spiritual values. I'll tell you why. Because when we move away from dharma by design, if we drop a ball from above, it has to go down by design, because there is something called a universal law at play called gravity. So we can't hope when I drop a ball, it will go up. And it is called gravity. When you pour water, it has to fall down. When you light a lamp, the lamp's flame has to go up only. These are universal laws. You can't beat universal law. Like we have universal law like gravitation, etc. in the physical universe, there are universal laws of our spiritual universe. There are universal laws in the spiritual space. And that universal laws in our spiritual and psychological space is what is called as dharma. We can't beat that universal law. If we want to progress, if we want to attain what we are chasing for, if we want happiness, we got to be in line with those universal values and use those universal values to help us move towards the purpose of life, which is Krishna Prema or liberation. So here, the universal values, the moment we depart from, when we depart from dharma, we have already signed up for misery. And so our Vidura Swami says, because people move away from dharma, obviously since they move away from dharma, by design, they are going to fall into misery. And then he adds one more thing. Why do they move away from dharma? Is they take their face off Krishna. The moment we take our entire focus off divinity, then automatically the mind gets caught in the actual maya, or it gets deluded and falls away from the path of dharma. Why? Because Bhagavan himself says, Dharmasya Prabhurachyutaha. The Lord of Dharma is Bhagavan Sri Krishna. The moment we take the eyes off the Dharmatma, the moment we take the eyes off Bhagavan Sri Krishna, then obviously we also move away from Dharma. If somebody is not being a Krishna Bhakta, yet they are following Dharma, wait till they are challenged. Wait till they get a knock in this life. Suddenly, Dharma is forgotten. They become bitter. So even Dharma seen without Bhakti is only a transient Dharma. Why? Because Dharma nourishes Bhakti and Bhakti completes Dharma. And that is the reason why our Swamiji very beautifully, and I never cease to be awed by the simplest of all dictums which summarizes human life, that humanity and divinity are inseparable. For us to grow divinely, we need some human values. We can't be hard at heart and hope that I'll become a jnani. Neither will a jnani have complete apathy towards humankind. In fact, opposite. A jnani is a complete human. All the human values flowers perfectly in jnani. And our Swamiji also says, use these human values to go in the path of divinity. And that's why he wrote the song, let us have the 8-petal lotus and do the puja with the 8-petal lotus. And the first 4 petals is Kshama, Satyam, Daya, Shanti, Bhakti, Virakti, Premai, Jnano, Yeno, Dalangai, Konda, Ashtatala, Pukunda, Seididu, Puja. Puja is divinity. But what lotus we need to use? The first 4 petals of the lotus are human values. With basic, incomplete human values you start. And then Bhagavan will complete the rest. Take a little striving, a little effort. Kshama. Kshama is forbearance, acceptance. Satyam, speaking the truth. Daya, compassion. Shanti, don't at least not feed when we get a little agitated. Let us not feed it by constantly mulling over, talking about it to others, complaining, gossiping, etc. With this basic human values, we do a puja with a lotus of 8 petals. What are those 8 petals? Kshama, Satyam, Daya, Shanti. And see the beauty of the song. Swamiji does not leave a break between the first 4 human values and the other 4 divine values, which is Bhakti, Virakti, Premai, Jnanam, Yenno, Talangai, Kunda. Here, Bhakti means Bhakti Sadhana. Prema is Sadhya Bhakti, which is the state of love in the heart of all the devotees. So here, the first 4 are the human values. And when we use these 4 human values, even incomplete, and reinforce it while we go in the path of divinity, slowly we start doing Bhakti Sadhana, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. So these are the practices we do. And then we get Bhakti Virag, we get what is called as a positive distancing from things which are worldly, which are going to interfere with the purpose of life. Not because of conflict. It becomes choiceless, conflict-free, which means I naturally shirk away from things which are poisonous. Likewise, naturally, I move away from things which are injurious to my spiritual journey. And that he ensures, Guru Kripa ensures. And the third step is prema. Then the amount of love I have for Bhagavan Sri Krishna gushes in my heart. And once that prema comes, Krishna completes our journey by giving us jnana. And we understand who we are. We actually not understand, realize. We get the realization, my Swarupam, what is it? Bhagavat Swarupam, what is it? What is my sambandham? What is my relationship with Bhagavat Swarupam? Jnanam is completed, see. So these 8, our Swamiji sang in a single line, so that there is no distancing between these are human values, these are divine values. Humanity and divinity are inseparable. And the human values start as a starting step for us to progress slowly towards divinity. When divinity completely flowers, human values finds its completion. Humanity and divinity are inseparable. And our Vidura Swami says, the reason why we are miserable is because we depart from the path of Dharma. And when we depart from the path of Dharma, why do we do so? It is because we take our eyes off Bhagavan Sri Krishna. We forget Bhagavan. then the moment we forget Bhagavan, Dharma cannot be sustained. Because Bhagavan is Dharma. That's why we have this in Sahasranama, Dharmo, Dharma, Viduttamaha. And Bhagavan, Dharmasya Prabhu Achyutaha. So the Lord of Dharma is Bhagavan. So even when we have to strengthen our normal values as a human being, we need to pray. We need to go in a divine path so that we strengthen it. So just giving moral values and not giving divine values will not work on the long term. Unfortunately, though I am too little to even comment about it, the way in which this moral education or value education progresses is not sustainable. We need to get the big picture. We need to understand the grander purpose. Otherwise, these values beyond a point won't make any sense. Or maybe a few, they may be able to hold it till the end of the life. But for the most of the population, they need the higher purpose. Unless moksha, liberation, bhakti, love, etc. is not clear, dharma is merely a means. And the means cannot stand on itself without its logical end, you see. And that is the reason why our Vidura Swami says, without Krishna Bhakti, dharma cannot be strengthened. And without a little dharma, Krishna Bhakti won't flower. These two complement each other. So a little dharma, a little shama, a little satyam, a little daya, and little shanti is a good starting point. Then we do bhakti sadhana. Then we get little more kshama, little more daya, little more satyam, little more shanti. And then we progress towards virakti. Then greater kshama, greater daya, greater satyam, greater shanti. And then we get prema, then complete daya, complete kshama, complete satyam, complete shanti. Then when it comes to jnana, it is effortless, it is natural. Like you can't separate sugar from the sweetness. You can't separate the sweet smell or fragrance from lotus. We can't separate this nourishing sun rays from the sun. Likewise, all these dharma values goes and gets attached to that completed prema bhakta, that who is a perfected jnani. And then all these qualities, they find its adornment in going and adorning that jnani. So jnani does not effortfully do all these. It comes naturally. So the completion of humanness is in the actual flowering of divinity. That's why humanity and divinity are inseparable. And so Bhagavan, after talking about all the two sadhanas, Nirguna Upasana, Saguna Upasana, and then finally saying both attain me alone, but Saguna Upasana, worship me with the form, through the path of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc., actually is superior because it is natural, because too much of Vairagya is not demanded, because people, even with a little or more Sarira Abhimana, can still look at Sariram as a medium for Krishna's worship. And they can take care of the body and then channelize that for Krishna Prema. And then slowly Prema will come. Once Prema comes, then everything becomes Krishna. We forget our name, we forget our story, we forget even our form. And it is only Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Automatically, this falls down. We are not trying to throw it. We are not fighting with it. Bhagavan slowly takes it off, you see. And that is the beauty of the first 12 slokas. And suddenly in the 13th sloka, Bhagavan starts describing a jnani. He is starting to describe a bhakta who is a jnani. So Yome Bhakta Same Priyaha is not a normal bhakta who is still fighting with samsara. He is a person who has won over samsara by Bhagavat Kripa in this life itself. So these are all great bhaktas, great Mahapurushas. They are Jivan Muktas. And such is the state of the Jivan Mukta. And he is telling things like Adveshta Sarva Bhutana. You see, the greatest human value, as our Swamiji very beautifully summed up, is love towards all and hatred towards none. Why? Adveshta Sarva Bhutana. Maitra Karuna Yevacha. Why? That can happen only when the jnana flowers. And that's why he is saying the first quality of a jnani is love towards all and enmity towards none. That starts as a wonderful human value for normal people to practice. But that is the nature of a siddha. And that which is the quality or nature of a siddha, becomes a practice point for people aspiring to be a perfected one. That which is a natural state of a jnani or a bhakta becomes a sadhana for a sadhaka. So our Bhagavan is giving list of 30 plus values of such great Mahatmas, because first of all, he shows the love he has for them. Instead of just saying, I loved what you said yesterday, if you really loved what somebody said yesterday, you would be specific, isn't it? That which you said, this one, this wonderful theme which you presented, in this manner you presented, that I love the most. This raga which you did alapana before you started the kirtan, that alapana I loved the most. You'll be very specific. Na? So Bhagavan very specifically is doing bhajana. And generally in a bhajana, you repeat a pallavi. Na? Our pallavi enna yo me bhaktasya me priyaha, yo me bhaktasya me priyaha. That I love my devotee, I love my devotee becomes a refrain in this wonderful song which Bhagavan is singing to show his love for the Bhagavatas. So he starts by saying, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna yevacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sukakshami adveshta sarva bhutanam. That yogi has completely eschewed enmity towards one and all. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna yevacha. And the first mark of a jnani is the completion of a human value called adveshta. No enmity towards anybody. Everybody is seen as alike. Samatvam is there. And maitra karuna evacha, friendliness, compassion. And he has all this. And how? Nirmamo, nirahankaraha, that complete state of selflessness. When you say no name, no fame, no self or personal interest, no personal agenda, only God, that is the state of a jnani. No name, no fame is lack of ahankara. No self-interest is the state of no mamakara. And what remains is only God. So if we can get to a state where name or fame or my ahankara is totally eschewed and my mamakara, mindness in form of no personal agenda is taken care, what remains is only God. Only our antaryami remains. And that is the reason why our Bhagavan first says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karunai evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sukakshami. So here Bhagavan is saying that jnani whom I love the most, that jnani whom I love the most will have the sterling qualities. He is hateful towards none and he is loving, friendly, compassionate towards all. Why? Because he has no sense of me and mine. Samadukkaha sukakshami. Bhagavan is telling, hey, this is what we all aspire for. Na? Is that not what we all aspire for? Can we be happy when we have any enmity toward anybody? Can we be happy if we are constantly thinking about I and mine? We all seek that happiness. Our Bhagavan is saying that values which you have been seeking right from birth, those values which seem to be very elusive for us, Bhagavan is saying, you do my bhakti, you do chant my divine name, you will see the progress. As we keep chanting the divine name and going in the path of Saguna Upasana or Nirguna Upasana for that matter, we don't talk about Nirguna Upasana because Bhagavan clearly said that Maya Veshya Mano Yema Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopeta Hateme Yukta Tamamataha. When he says that if somebody is established in me and in my Saguna Upasana, I consider him the most established yogi, supreme yogi, the one who understands the yoga the best. And so here Bhagavan is saying, the need of the hour in this world is all this now. Need of the hour is Maitri, which is friendliness. Need of the hour is compassion. Need of the hour is no sense of hatred towards each other. Each of us have a little hatred. Each of us have a little resentment. Each of us have a little sense of enmity towards something or somebody. Each of us have a little lack of compassion, little lack of friendliness. All these small units adds up to become global conflicts, global drought, etc. Why we are the world now, which is the reason why when we want the world to be a better place, when our Swamiji says, Ulagam makkal vuiye vor vazhi kandar, what does he mean? How can me chanting make a transformation? At least it makes transformation in my world. People around me, you do it, I do it, he does it. Slowly, it will become a very different world, at least for us. And that is the beauty of our Bhagavan suddenly changing track. Instead of saying Paramananda Swarupi, he is in that complete state of Ananda. Our Bhagavan is saying those values which we have been taught, which we have been pursuing, will come automatically, Arjuna. All you need to do is do my bhakti. I shall bless you. We need all these values to be at least human. And that will be completely blessed by me if you do bhakti. And he says, my bhaktas have these values. And Bhagavan is hinting two things. One, get into a satsanga of such a bhakta. And not 20%, 30%, to an extent, sadhu sangha. But for us to completely surrender to a Mahatma, we should know who it is. And here, this is the state of the Mahatma. Adveshta sarva bhutana, maitra karuna evacha, nirmamo nirahankaraha, samadukka sukakshami. And he is in that state of complete lack of enmity, friendliness, and a complete state of equanimity. Samadukkaha sukhaha. People may talk, but what they are makes a big difference. When it comes to secular subjects, we don't have to really worry about what that person's character is. As long as we learn something from that person, it is enough for us. But when it comes to spiritual stuff, what the person is as important as what the person teaches, because everything which that person or that personality or Mahatma teaches is adrishtam for us. We don't know. We have to hold on to the faith in that person and his words to progress in this path, which is not true for other secular sciences or other stuff. So here, our Veda Mata says that Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam, not only should he be able to actually explore the various themes of scriptures, he should also live it. He should be a Brahmanishta. He can't just be a teacher. And teacher has their own purpose, but you can't surrender to a teacher who merely teaches slokas, etc. We need to surrender to a person who lives these values. And that's why Bhagavan says that such a bhakta is very dear to me. And such a bhakta is very dear to me. And the first sterling quality, Atveshta, which also Bhagavan is saying, once you look at the end, it inspires you to chant more. The moment we understand, when we actually chant the divine name, one day I'm going to have that heart filled with love. I'm going to have that heart filled with friendliness. I'm going to have the heart filled with compassion. I'm going to have a heart where I'm not going to even nurse enmity towards people who tend or try or maybe the cause of hurting me. And I'm going to drop that I. I'm going to drop that mama, mine. And sukham and dukkham is going to be samam to me. I'm going to be in the state of ananda all the time. Sama dukkha sukhaha kshami. I'm going to be accepting. I'm going to be tolerant. And Bhagavan is saying these are the qualities of a bhakta. And he is very dear to me. He is telling, are these not qualities worth emulating? Is that not state of that bhakta worth living for? And Bhagavan is actually showing us the final state, and he's trying to tell all of us, don't worry, I will take you there, just cooperate with me. And he's eulogizing the qualities of a bhakta to inspire us to lead a higher life a little bit, inspire us to love Bhagavan a little bit more, inspire us to chant Maha Mantra a little bit more. As we keep remembering the sterling qualities, it inspires us. So Bhagavan is doing his bit to inspire us, to slowly guide us to go slowly towards the path, so that we get the energy, we get the passion to continue in this path. And then Bhagavan says, Santushtas satatam yogi yatatma drida nischayaha mayyarpita mano buddhihi yo madbhaktas same priyaha. That devotee is very dear to me. What is that devotee? Generally, when you say devotion, what does it mean? It means the devotee says, Krishna is very dear to me. I shall do anything for Krishna. That's what devotion is. Here, Krishna is telling the opposite. That these devotees who do devotion is very dear to me. What does it mean? I will do anything for them. See, and I'm ready to give up anything for them. He tells Uddhava, I will give up Shankara. I will give up Brahma. Why? I will give up my own self. I will give up even Shri for you. You are far more dear to me than all these. You see, Bhagavan's love towards a devotee. What will Bhagavan not do for a devotee? And Yo me bhakta same priyaha is well explained in Ambarisha Charitra, where when Durvasa runs to Bhagavan, he says, Aham bhakta paradinaha aswatantra ivadvija. I am no longer swatantra. Of course, philosophy says I am swatantra, but for the world I am swatantra. When it comes to my devotees, I am not independent. I am completely tied by their devotion. Something which ties Bhagavan itself is the devotion. And so Bhagavan says, Yo me mat bhaktas same priyaha. Yo mat bhaktas same priyaha. That devotee is very dear to me. And when somebody is very dear to us, what will you do? What will we not do for the devotee? Such is the greatness of prema. Such is the greatness of bhakta, which can bind even Bhagavan. Kanninun siruttambinal kattunna panniya perumayan. Yennapanil. And today, in some parts of the world, it is the descent day of the great Alvar, Madhurakavi Alvar. And he said that very fine rope of love has tied down even Bhagavan Sri Krishna. That is the beauty of this love. That is the beauty of Saguna Upasana. And that is the state of Jnanis, and Bhagavan loves Jnanis, irrespective of whether they follow the Saguna Upasana or Nirguna Upasana. Jnani is a Jnani. Santushtas sadatam yogi. Santushtaha. A yogi is always at peace because he is always contented, or she is always contented. Satatam, always. In the state of surrender, we get this. If we completely surrender to Krishna, like chandanam, pushpam, and thambulam, like sandal paste, betel leaf, and flower, where you keep, it will be there. Na? If Bhagavan takes chandanam and puts it in his vakshasthala, it will remain there, bhagyam. If we just have this tambulam, show it to Bhagavan and keep it below, the tambulam stays where it is, bhagyam. And if you offer a flower to the feet of Bhagavan, bhagyam. Likewise, wherever Bhagavan keeps us, we think that's what he wants, bhagyam. Santushta satatam yogi. Without if only, if then, is not the path of surrender itself. So imagine how a yogi would be. Always contented. Yatatma drida nischayaha. And he's saying, yeah, Santushta Sadam yogi completely has controlled his senses. And he's the Lord of the senses now. And Yatatma drida nischayaha. His mind and intellect are constantly focused only on Bhagavan. Who? Bhakta Jnani. Chaturvida bhajante emam, Jnani also does bhajan. Na? That bhajan which a Jnani does is most loved by Bhagavan. You see. And yatatma means totally restrained. You see. Completely controlled. Yatatma. Because he's a yogi. Mayyarpita mano buddhihi. Mayyarpita mano buddhihi. That manas and buddhi is offered to Bhagavan. What does it mean? Think very deeply about it. Because we are all in a satsang, we can see it in two ways. Mayyarpita mano buddhihi, na? When we have a Mahapurusha, that Mahapurusha does not have a thought of his own. A Mahapurusha does not have a decision of his or her own. A Mahapurusha or a Jnani or a Acharya Purusha merely is a channel, if I can use the word channel, for Bhagavan's Kripa to flow to all of us. They don't have their own individual constraining. So whatever they think, whatever they tell is clearly Bhagavan telling. That is the reason why we revere Guru Devatatma. And we revere Guru as Bhagavan, not because of any other reason. They don't have any ahankara, mamakara at all. If they are emptied of ahankara, mamakara, what is shining forth in their heart? It is only Antaryami Bhagavan Sri Krishna. If only Krishna without any without any taint or without any contamination or without any avaranam or covering is shining in their heart, what comes out from their divine lips is Krishna. What comes out from their divine eyes in form of compassion is Krishna. What comes out from their walk, what comes out as an action from them, everything is Bhagavan, Bhagavan, Bhagavan. Na? So here, Mayyarpita mano buddhihi, Yomad Bhaktas Same Priyaha. Bhagavan allows such Acharya Purushas, Jivan Muktas, to stay in the world so that he can do a different type of work in the world which is elevating the souls. Without them, he can do taking care of the world because everybody else is in Ajnana. For those rare few who have sort of surrendered to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, or who have been very fortunate to be picked by Krishna Kripa, Bhagavan had to work to take them to their feet only through the hands of such Mahatmas. And whatever those Mahatmas do is what Krishna does, isn't it? So, Mayarpitam Ano Buddhihi, and since they do my work and I get all my work of elevating the souls done through them, I do all my work of taking the fortunate, Kritartha Jana Gana Mangala Moolam. Some people have to come to me. I can't do it directly because the entire world is enveloped with my own power. And I have kept some people whom I love the most called Jnanis, called Jivan Muktas, called Acharya Purushas, Avatara Purushas. I myself come down also to make sure I do this exceptional work of taking care of all my dear souls or elevating them, which I can't do through the normal governing of the universe, which I have to do only through Maya. So here he says, Mayarpitamano Buddhihi. Once Bhagavan Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Maharaj was asked by one of the devotees, disciples, close disciples, saying, Bhagavan, whatever happens is happening as per Father's will, Father na Krishna. And Bhagavan says, yes, whatever happens in my life also happens as per Bhagavan's will. He says, yes. Then the devotee asked, what is the difference between you and me? Like Arjuna asked Krishna. Bhagavan Yogi Ram Surat Kumar answered very beautifully. That's the beauty of such Mahatmas. They simplify very complicated questions into very simple answers, which we need to meditate to understand. He said, Bhagavan works in your case through his Maya, which means Bhagavan works through the agency of your ego in your case. In my case, my father works directly. There is no intermediate thing called ego, whether ego is a phantom, whether ego is a fantasy, or ego is something which is imagined, all that let it be there. But that's true, isn't it, in our current state? So rest of the people's life, Bhagavan runs through their ego. That is the reason why we think, I decided this, I went there, and thank goodness I did this job, hence I got this. There is an I everywhere. And Bhagavan works through them only. It is only Bhagavan who is running the universe through them. But he does that through the agency of ego. But for Mahatmas, they have completely burnt that ego. They have completely roasted the seed of the ego. Now it won't germinate. So Bhagavan works directly through these Mahatmas. So of course, for you and me, Bhagavan is working only. But he is working through our ego. Naam pesine, nee kete, I told, you heard, etc. But for a Mahatma, there is no I. Once somebody used the word I with Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, he was such emptied of ego that he said, which eye are you talking about, right eye or left eye? You see, for him, I only meant that. For us, I is clearly a one-letter word. For them, it is a three-letter word, you see. And that is their state. Nirmamo nirahankaraha. Their buddhi, manas is all offered to Bhagavan. So Bhagavan uses their buddhi and their manas as his agency to do his kripa to the world. That's why we don't separate these two. Guru Krupa, Hari Krupa are not separate. Guru Veru, Hari Veru என்று இருப்பது அறியாதவர் பேச்சு. So if you separate Guru and Hari, we have not understood it properly. You see? And our Swamiji has written a lovely song on it. If you don't think Guru is different, Hari is different. Guru Krupa is Hari Krupa, Hari Krupa is Guru Krupa. And remember, these two, Hari and Guru, are also two-letter word, and it has become one because of the two-letter word. And our Swamiji says, it is my experience, see, that Guru and Hari are one. And that is the beauty of Mayarpita Mano Buddhihi. Yomad Bhaktas Same Priyaha. Such a Bhakta is very dear to me. And then, Yasman Nod Vijate Loko, Loka Nod Vijate Shayaha, Harsha Marsha Bayot Vegaihi, Mukto Yas Sachame Priyaha. This person who lives in the world is not affected by the world. And the reverse is also true. Such a Bhakta will not be a burden for anybody in the world. The world does not mind this Bhakta, the Bhakta does not mind this world. The world does not disturb the Bhakta, this Bhakta does not disturb the world. And the example our Swamiji always gives is this house sparrow we used to have in India. The house sparrow will come and it will find a small corner in the home, build a small nest. And if you think it's a nuisance and take the nest off, quietly it will fall off. It will run away. It won't disturb anybody in that house. Even a newly born child, even a toddler is not intimidated by that sparrow. I have seen myself in our childhood when we used to live close to Premika Bhavanam. Sparrows used to come and we used to put some rice for the sparrow. It will just peck and keep going. It won't hurt anybody. Even if you make a small, that itself enough for the sparrow to leave. It says, even if the person is a little disturbed by my presence, why should I be there? I'll find some other place. Bhagavan has given infinite universe for it. It will run off, you see. Why? Neither does it bother the household. It won't go into the kitchen and peck all the food, etc. It won't go and create a mess, you see. It won't even dirty the place. In fact, quietly it will peck some of those little grains here and there, cleans the place only if it is there. And if we find a little disturbance, if it even thinks there is a disturbance, it will run off, go to some other place. And neither were the people in the household bothered by that sparrow, house sparrow. They are very happy. The chirping is so sweet. And it quickly flies, moves here, moves there. It teaches us industriousness. It teaches us tremendous sense of constant effort, constant movement, energy. It used to be such a lovely thing. So our Swamiji used to say, like a house sparrow, and not being disturbed by the house, neither is the house disturbed by a house sparrow. Can you imagine that with a crow? We can't. We are intimidated by it. And the way crow says, cow, 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 no, doesn't work. But a sparrow, chirping. That is what is the state of a bhakta. Yasman no dvijate loko udvijate. Yasman udvijate. Neither that the person gets agitated by the world, feels very disturbed by the world, nor is the world disturbed by a bhakta. In fact, the world is very happy to have such a bhakta. The world looks at the sweet qualities of the bhakta, and the people who are fortunate look at the divinity of the bhakta. And world is not agitated by the bhakta. Bhakta is not agitated by the world. And why? Harsha, Marsha, Bhaya, Udvegaihi. Mukto yes sachame priya. A person who is free from these three. Harsha, Marsha. One who is freed from tremendous exaltation, jumping up and down when Harsha comes. Priyalabe antakaranasya utkarshaha. And he's saying, when you get what you like, that bhakta does not jump up with joy and all that. Calmly it is taken. And amarsha means asahishnuta, which means a sense of I'm not able to even tolerate this. When that which is not preferred by that person is added to that person, that bhakta or a mahatma does not feel revolted, or he is not feeling repulsive of all that stuff, and he is not angered by it, free from getting overjoyed out of material things. They are overjoyed because of Krishna Anubhav, and not getting overjoyed because of all the secular happenings. Neither getting too much of agitated because of what happens around. Calm, harsha, marsha, bhaya, no fear at all. A devotee knows no fear. Why? He doesn't see the second one at all. There is fear only when there is dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. Our Upanishad says only when there is a second thing imagined, there is a fear. When you are all alone, and you are all alone with Krishna, where is the fear at all? So for them, the world is Krishna. The whole play of the world is the play of Krishna. So when a child is playing with the mother, and it is only the mother and the child in a room, will a child feel fear at all? In fact, it will revel, it will enjoy. It will allow the mother to play around, jump, throw, everything. The child will be happy, smiling all that. Have you ever seen a child? If you try to throw the child and catch it, if we were there, the child hence he kills. The child laughs when you throw and catch. Such a risk we are putting on the child. Child does not know. It has absolute childlike trust with the mother. She knows that if he throws it, she will anyway catch it. So she is enjoying this risk game of somebody throwing and catching. It is laughing all the time. Likewise, no bhayam. And udvegaihi. Udvegaihi means affliction. And udvegaihi means feeling a little miserable, afflicted, etc. And so he said that a person who is free from all that is very dear to me. And such is the bhakta who is very dear to me. And Bhagavan says, Anapekshaha suchir dakshaha udasino gatavyataha sarvaramba paridhyagi yo mad bhaktas same priyaha anapekshaha. He has absolutely no desire or dependence on things like his own body, his own sense organs, or objects of their world, etc. And the relationship between our sense organ and object, that which creates that binding, all that this bhakta does not have, you see. And they are anapeksha. Even if Lakshmi comes knocking their door in form of Achala Lakshmi, in form of gold, etc., they will send it. Like Tyagaraja Swami, Vedanta Desika Swami, Tukaram Maharaj. So they say, I don't need all that, go. Huh? Anapeksha. And not because they are well off. In fact, their whole life is run by Uncha Vritti, going around, singing the songs, blessing the people who offer them a handful of rice. They are doing Uncha Vritti not for their Sarira Poshanam. It is for the Atma portion of the one who gives. It is not the one who takes who is blessed. It is the one who offers who is blessed. So they go around singing. Harinarayana Harina. And people offer rice and maybe good, which is unrefined sugar, jaggery, and they may offer some pulses. Quietly, nothing is demanded. Whatever you give, Madhukara Vritti, like our Purandaradasa Maharaj sings, Madhukara Vritti Yennudu Adu Badu Channadu. It is very nice for me. Like a bee collecting a little honey from many flowers and not staying in one flower for long. For 2 seconds, take a little honey, go to the next flower, go to the next flower, not disturbing the flower and not getting disturbed by the flower and not seeing whether it's a red flower or green flower. If there is honey, it will go and take it. Likewise, Madhukara Vritti, Anapekshaha. So they don't actually have any desires for things which are covetable by normal human beings. Anapekshaha. Suchihi, very pure, very clean, and very chaste inside and outside. A bhakta will be clean. A bhakta will be pure in the heart. Dakshaha, he understands things very nicely. A bhakta is not a fool, obviously. He's a jnani, he's a mahatma. How can you even use that word? But I'm just saying because the word daksha is there, he understands or she understands his duty that is presenting themselves. They understand what needs to be done when. They do it very well. They may do great things. They may renovate ancient temples, which even great, very clever people could not even complete it over decades. And they will run, even if required, if Bhagavan demands, they will run patashalas efficiently. And they will do all the duties. And people would be surprised, how did he complete it? How did he? Dakshaha, dexterous, skillful. Suchir dakshaha udasino is very impartial. Such a bhakta does not say, he actually is related to me, Vendiya Patavar. He is somebody who is my bandhu. And he is not my bandhu, he does not have Sudasi, impartial and neutral. Sarva Ramba Parityagi, a bhakta won't interfere in anybody else's business. The only business a bhakta has, bhakta I mean Mahapurushas, which our Bhagavan is saying, is the work given by Bhagavan. Even if there is tremendous pressure for him to do some other work, he won't even touch it. Why? Unless Krishna ordains, no work is done. So many people don't understand it. When a Mahatma does a work and people say, I also know a temple here, I also know a temple there, that's not what they are doing. They are not doing a job for us. They are not doing a job for society. They are doing the various work, dakshaha, which is dexterously as ordained by Bhagavan. It is Bhagavan who ordains them to do all these things. So we can't bend them, you see. And if we bend our head and support them, Namba Bhagya, you see. And that's why he has added Udasina. He does not, just because somebody he knows tells him to do something, he won't do. Just because somebody who is a complete stranger need to do something for him, he'll go and approach him. Why? Krishna's job. and he won't interfere into any of these so-called businesses of others. Adalla he won't, because he understands Krishna is running the universe. Whatever Krishna Kainkaryam is given to that jnani, choicelessly, joyfully, that is completed. You see? And that is why Sarvaramba Parityagi Yo Mad Bhaktas Same Priyaha. And then Yo na krishyati, na dveshti, na sochati, na kankshati, subha shubha parityagi, bhakti manyas same priyaha. He's saying that yo na krishyati, he is not rejoicing when he gets that which the coveted object by the world. He does not covet for anything. Neither does he rejoice it. Na dveshti, when an undesirable object gets added to that person, he does not fret also. And na sochati, when there is a loss, the jnani does not keep crying, you see. For loka upacharam, maybe he will sit down, cry with other people out of compassion, but deep inside nothing touches him. There is compassion which makes him cry. And he understands that the loss is not a loss at all. Where was it permanently present to lose it? It was meant to be only transient. He understands all that. But when people around him feel sad, he will merely reflect their feelings because he is compassionate. He is actually sad because you are sad, not because of that which happened there. And out of compassion, his sadness wipes our sadness also. So, na sochati, na kankshati, he does not hanker after any object. Shubha, ashubha, parityagi, he gives up the sense of this is good, this is bad. And laukikam, vaidikam, karma, na janami. For him, everything is divine. That which divinely is ordained inside becomes shubham. So he does not judge this is shubham, this is ashubham. Everything is done as per the ordinance of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. That such a state is possible. We always think intellect has to be used in for us. Yes, it is true. For a Mahatma, it is all Bhagavan Sri Krishna who has taken over the mind, who has taken over the intellect, and so is filled with that ananda. So whatever that Mahatma does, neither has a category of good or bad. It is divine. Generally, there is the state of good or bad, joy and sorrow. And our Swamiji initially wrote this for our God pamphlet way back 10 years back, 12 years back. He said, normally the mind has only two experiences called joy and sorrow. Divinity is to transcend joy and sorrow to be in the state of constant bliss. Likewise, joy and sorrow is the reaction, and the assumption or the sponsoring thought for joy and sorrow is Subha and Ashubha, or what we call as good and bad actions. So good and bad actions are totally eschewed by him because everything which happens is divine for him. Divine is neither good nor bad. Good and bad is only in duality. In divinity, there is that oneness. So whatever actions done by a Mahatma or a Jnani is divine. Neither does that Mahan or that Bhakta thinks good or bad, because good and bad means choice, and living that state, choice means conflict. Should I go this? Should I do that? Should I go there? Should I? So choice is not something which is very, what do I call, good. Choice is a conflict. And a jnani or a bhakta does not have this problem of a choice. Naturally, the right thing happens through him, if I can use the word. And when a naturally auspicious thing happens through a Mahatma, it is neither good nor bad. It is only Mangalam. It is only divine. So he is saying, Shubha, Shubha Parityagi. Neither does he think this is good work, let me do. This is bad work, let me eschew. Because that duality is gone for the Jnani. He sees whatever divinity inspires or triggers work through that Mahatma, it is done. And he said, Bhaktiman me same priyaha. Such a Bhaktiman is very dear to me, he says. And we have been quickly seeing through the various qualities of Mahatmas to be inspired. We will see the rest of this tomorrow, and we will conclude our 12th chapter tomorrow. Some other time, we can take each of this value and relish a Mahatma's life related to the value. That would be a very long series from Bhakti Mal or Vaishnava Samhita or from the Bhakta Vijayam lectures of our Swamiji. We can actually go through all that. We'll do it later. Tomorrow we shall conclude. We will do the complete Parayanam of the 12th chapter. And so please get your books ready, and please do Parayanam with all of us here. And then day after tomorrow is also the 48 days of Mahamantra Japa, which has been done by all our brothers and sisters in Australia, New Zealand area. So that is going to be completed. We will celebrate the culmination of that on May 9th. Sarvatra Govindana Sankirtanam Bhagavan Mukajate Amba Parikrita Bhavabhite Bhakta Jana Hridishite Amba Jaya 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 Gite Amba Jaya 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 Gite Bharata Madhyagate Amba Bhadarayana Kathite Bhakti Jnana Virakti Nide Amba Jaya 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 Gite Amba Jaya 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 Gite Brahmadika Sura Vinute Amba Premika Bhakti Hite Pavana Padamahite Amba Jaya 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 Gite Amba Jaya 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 Gite Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi adyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami. Sadguru Maharaj ki sarvatra govinda nama sankirtanam. Radhe Radhe.